Welcome to the Aquaflow Crypto Lab. As promised, now I give regular updates about the current situation for XRP. And I know what you're thinking. XRP is going up and down and up and down. It's playing with us. But when you have the big picture, you can have a better understanding of what's going on. This channel is dedicated to give you the best insights about the crypto market. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Now, let's begin. So this is an XRP bull run theory, and first I want you to pay attention to this blue indicator. This is the skyline indicator that I already talked about in my previous videos, and the benefit of this indicator is that it's telling us that the price cannot go higher than this indicator for the current candle. For the reminder, I'm using the 2-month time frame, meaning that each candle is a 2-month candle. And as you can see, each time we stopped at the indicator, it was the case here, we stopped before going up again, we stopped just right here before going up again, then sideways, then here we reached the indicator, here it was the same, right? And the last time it was here. But what I want you to pay attention to is this, is that every time that we reached this major top, the skyline indicator was around the orange box. For example, here it was the end of this orange box. Here we were inside the orange box again. Here we were inside the orange box, and here again. So every time XRP is waiting for the skyline indicator to penetrate the orange box before reaching. It's like a magnet, right? Every time we have the blue indicator penetrating the box, we have the price that is attracted to this area. It was the case here. Same, we have the skyline indicator like this, then down, penetrating the box, and here we were here, and we were attracted to this area. Here it was the same, going down like this, penetrating the box, and we were attracted to this area again. And you know that this chart is a theory saying that every time that we go into a bull market, we should reach the next orange box. So for example, here we have our all-time high, then bear market, then we went up, and we reached the second orange box. And before reaching this, here we stopped at an intermediate step in the bear market, right? All-time high, bear market, we went up to retest the box, got rejected before the second top, right? Here it was the same. We reached our top, we went down into a bear market, we went up to retest the box, we got rejected to the downside, and right now we are going through the box again. And as you can see, for multiple months just right here, we've been stuck inside the second box, and right now we are making our way out. And as you know, this candle will close at the end of August. That's why this is so important. And we know that if we are able to go through the second box, the third box should be the next top. And as you can see, at the same time, we have the skyline indicator that is about to penetrate this box. And if history repeats, then when the blue indicator will penetrate the box, the price should be attracted to this area. Of course, this is pure speculation, guys, but you understand why this analysis makes sense. I have no crystal ball, guys, and catching tops in this market is way more difficult than catching bottoms. And that's why you should take profits along the way and not wait for a specific target to sell your XRP. But now you will tell me what XRP is waiting for to go up. Well, as you can see on this chart, we have this line going up, and this line is preventing us from going up, as you can see, because every time that we reach it, we are rejected to the downside. And the next chart will help us to understand what's going on right now. So this is the same chart, right, with the orange box, the skyline indicator, but this time I highlighted this line, the golden resistance. And you can see that since we crossed the golden resistance, here we've been rejected to the downside every time that we reached it. Here it was the case. Here, big rejection to the downside. Here we couldn't go above it. Here neither. And once again, with the current candle, we are stuck. And on this chart, we have also the blue line and the orange line. And when we are below those lines, we are in a bear market, and above them, we are in a bull market. For example, here during this entire phase, we are in a bear market, right? Even here, we are below those lines. We are in a bear market, and we use the lines as strong resistances. Here in the bear market, you can see we rejected. right? Here it was the same, got rejected to the downside. Here we touched it multiple times, but every time we closed below those lines. But when we are above them, we start using them as strong supports. And you can see here it was a support, then we bounced to the upside. Here you see we went sideways, we reached the orange line, we bounced to the upside. But what's currently happening, it's very interesting, because as you can see with this candle, we crossed the blue line, but we stayed above the orange line. This means that currently XRP is in an indecision area, because XRP has to decide whether or not we will use the orange line as a support and use it to go to the upside, or start using the blue line as a strong resistance and it will push us to the downside. So I've been telling this for weeks now, and this is a battle, guys. This is the battle that will decide of the future of the market. This is why XRP is going up above the blue line and below the blue line. It's because bulls and bears are fighting right now. And as the orange line is going up and we'll have this level for the next candle, we will know for sure which lines won the fight. So currently, as I speak, you can see that we are still above the orange line, but we are right below the blue line. We have 2 weeks left before the end of the month, so let's see what will happen. And we can even go on the daily time frame, and this is again the golden resistance. As you can see here, we reached it and we got rejected by it, but where did we go, guys? We went to the orange box, and on this scale, it's very obvious that we needed to retest this very important level. So as I said, now that XRP was able to go through this orange box, it hit this golden resistance, but we needed to go back down to retest this orange box as a support before going up again. And this test, you don't see it on the 2 months time frame, but you can see it on the daily time frame. So remember the level of the top of the orange box, it is around $2.75. So remember that in order to stay bullish, XRP has to remain in this area and not go back into the all-time high box, the orange box. And as you can see here for the current 2 months candle, here the golden resistance is around $3.64. So these are the levels to watch for the next 2 weeks. We can move to the next chart, the bull bear wave chart. You already know this chart also, so I will be very brief, but what we don't want to see is to see XRP crossing the shadow. The shadow is in gray, as you can see, in gray and white. And you see that here we crossed and we went below the shadow, and it was the beginning of our bear market during this entire phase, right? And we were below the shadow. We even use it as a strong resistance before crossing it again just right here, and it was the beginning of our bull run. The same thing happened just right here. We were there. Then we penetrated here the shadow, we went below it, and this was the beginning of our bear market, and we used it as a strong resistance even here, and we have our new bottom just right here. So this is the reason why I don't want to see XRP crossing the shadow. As you see here, we started using the shadow as a support. It was wonderful. We have a green candle, but right now we are going deeper inside it. So right now we still have margin before crossing the shadow, but I pay attention to what's currently happening because this is a critical moment for XRP. And for the reminder, in the past, when we were there, we had a similar structure. We have XRP that reached the top. We went down to use the wave as a support, then up, then support again, just right here. We went sideways until reaching the shadow before the bull run. So now, you see, just right here, we went sideways, we reached the shadow, we went up, but now we are penetrating the shadow again. So we absolutely need to use it as a support, push us to the upside. Now, a quick reminder about the big picture of XRP. This is the 3 months time frame. And as you can see, XRP is still in the moon zone. So every time that you worry, take a step back and understand the big picture. And you know that these are the candles that told us that we should go up with this candle. Because before going up, XRP had to close above the cloud area with this candle. It was already bullish, but it was not enough. Then we have the second candle trying to push us to the downside, penetrating the cloud again, but we managed to close above the cloud. Then with the second candle, we penetrated the cloud again and even the sandbox, but we used the sand as a support. It was wonderful, and we managed again to close the candle above the cloud. And that's why currently XRP has a magnificent setup to go up. And as you can see, the sand is going above the cloud, which is a very positive sign because we know that the sand is our next support. And if the sand is going up, it means that the support will go higher than the previous close of this all-time high. So this is very bullish, guys. But of course, as we are on the 3 months time frame, these things take time, guys. And now we can go to the last chart of the day, the cloud chart. So this chart is still pretty bullish. Why? Because here, after having these warnings, right? The 2 warnings like we had here, for example, like we had just right here, we had to cool down, so to go down, right? And we tested the cloud as a support and we went up. And during this entire phase, we used the cloud as a beautiful support before going up again. However, the market was overheated, and that's why I said here, careful, we have a second warning saying that XRP has to cool off. And this is the reason why you see that with this candle, we went down. And on this chart, I'm using the 23 days time frame, and the next candle will start tomorrow on Tuesday, the 90th. So this is also the reason why XRP was stuck. It's because it needed to wait for the next candle to start before going up. And I'm not saying that we should automatically go up after this candle, but we needed at least one candle to pause before the next. That's why currently XRP is in a critical phase. You saw in the previous charts that we hit a critical resistance. At the same time, we had to cool off with this warning. However, we have plenty of supports below us, and step by step XRP is breaking new critical levels to the upside. Now you should have a complete understanding of the current situation in the market. If you like the content and want to follow this journey with us, please subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. That's all for today's video, and as always, time will tell.